Hey, so given that you know now how to actually hold a note and play a string, then the next thing that most beginners want to do is learn some chords, okay? Because when you go to learn a song or something, there's often going to be like letters on there which mean chords, and it kind of assumes that you know them, how to play them, and just incorporate it into your song. So chords are pretty important. Now what you want to do is, as you learn the shapes of them, you want to practice getting hold of them in one, because you have to use several fingers for each of them, okay? And instead of like going, oh, I need to put this there, that there, that there, and that there, you want to practice just getting them all together. All your fingers land on the string at the same time. It's just practice, okay? But it's very handy, sounds better, and it's just generally better anyway. So first chord is an A. What you have to do there is you don't play the low E string, but you play the open A string, so just the A string with nothing else held. Then you play the second fret on the fourth string, third string, and the second string, okay? So you've got the twos all the way across, and the open E string, high E string. Okay, so when you play that, some people will tell you that you want to hold one string per finger. Okay, with an A chord it's pretty tricky. Some people do kind of hold it like that, you know. So, but if you look, like especially on the fourth string there, my finger is way behind the fret and it doesn't sound so great. Sometimes I'll just use two fingers and squash that third string in between them, but most of the time I just use one finger and bar across them, as most people do. These fingers aren't actually doing anything, they're just sort of there for decoration, just to look good. Okay, so that's an A chord. Now, incidentally, what I'm doing in between there is muting strings. Very handy to know at this point, because as you're playing chords, if you don't know how to mute, you're going to get a lot of noise like in between. It doesn't sound so good. So what I'm doing is I'm stopping the strings vibrating with either my palm on this hand or my fingers on this hand. All I'm doing is just touching the strings. I'm not holding them down. Like with my left hand, when I do this, I'm not holding any frets, just touching the strings so they can't vibrate. So when you strike them, you get that kind of rhythmic thing. Or you can just touch them with your palm to stop the note playing. Okay, just keeps everything cleaner and a little bit tighter and nicer. Okay, so nice and tight. I'm not going to make any of those jokes at this time in the morning. A chord, B chord. B chord, you don't play the low E string either. Now you play second fret on the A string, and then you play the fourth fret on the fourth, third, and second strings. Okay. I play it like that. I kind of put my first finger on there and I bar across them. Barring means holding them all at the same time with one finger. Okay. Apologies for my cold, by the way. I don't know why I'm filming a video today. Dedication, isn't it? And you know, Steph is incredibly pretty, so you got to try, haven't you? Right, but if you can't do that for a beginner, because it's quite tough, what I do nearly all the time is I just play the fifth, fourth, and third strings, and I use one finger per string. So I've got my first finger on the A string, fifth string. I've got my third finger on the fourth string and my little finger on the third string. I just play those three strings. It's just a bit simpler to hold, less difficult, you're not going to strain your fingers too much doing it that way. Okay, so there we go. C chord. They've got the open E string. You've got the first fret of the B string. You've got the open G string. Third string. Sorry. So open first string. First fret of the second string. Open third string. And then you've got the second fret on the fourth string. And the third fret on the fifth string. So if you look at my fingers there, you can see which ones I'm using for each. Now it's important to arc the fingers, okay? Because you've got to get that open G string in between. And if your fingers are kind of sloppy, or they're like going across the strings, you're not going to hear it, you're going to mute it. It's going to sound like crap, okay? So you've got to arc them down, so all you're touching is the strings that you're supposed to be holding. You're not touching anything else with them. It's also same thing with this top E string. That's very easy to mute with your first finger. You have to make sure that you're just holding that B. Okay? C chord, very easy, comfortable chord once you know how to do it. D chord. This time you've got the open fourth string. You've got the second fret of the third string with your first finger. You've got the second fret of the first string with your second finger. And then in between those, in between those on the second string, you've got your third finger on the third fret. So you've got like this little triangle. Very nice sounding chord. Now a little trick here which most people, which is used in a lot of songs, is you put your little finger down on the third fret of the first string as well. You kind of alternate. Okay, it's used in loads of songs. What you can also do is lift off your second finger, so you're just holding the second and the third string. You play it again. If you know your Queen, for instance. Okay, so that's a song straight away for you. Okay, next chord will be an E chord. This time you hit all of the strings, okay? So you've got the second fret on the fifth and the fourth string with your second and third fingers. Like that, okay? And then you've got your first finger down on the third string. And the rest of the strings, the second, first and the last string, are open. Then you've got an F chord, okay? The way I play it, there's a few ways to play an F chord, but the way I play it is I bar the first and second strings at the first fret, just with my first finger, and then I grab the third string at the second fret with my second finger, and then I've got the fourth string with my third finger on the third fret, and I'm muting the ones below it. Technically it's part of a bar chord, which I'll come to later, but you just play the top four strings. Okay, that's the end of this part. I'll be back in a second with the G chord and some final thoughts. Okay, cheers.